If I had had access to Jowie's legal team, I would have strongly recommended that they focus on what Monica Kimani used to do to earn a living. Or rather, what got Monica Kimani so wealthy. You see, the late Miss Kimani used to work in South Sudan, and we were given a few conflicting stories about what she used to do exactly. But we know she was very wealthy. Let me just summarize it like this. Alikuwa anabebea wakubwa pesa.
Gradually, we are starting to get a picture, a very clear picture, of where the late Monica Kimani's cash came from. What I am saying is that for money laundering to happen, which is a crime, there has to be another crime to precede it first. You see, money laundering is washing dirty money, trying to legitimize money which is dirty. So, you wash your dirty money. What do? You generate invoices for a supermarket. You pretend you're supplying them with certain goods and services. You deliver your invoices to the supermarket with their huge sums of cash. And then the supermarket takes your dirty money and they bank it with the other legitimate money. And at the end of the day, you get paid. You receive a check from the supermarket. And in the books, it looks like you supplied the supermarket with electronics or whatever it was. And the check you receive from the supermarket is worth tens of millions. But that's okay. Electronics are expensive. You get my gist? Now, money laundering is also linked to something else. And that something else is corruption. You're embezzling huge sums of money from a government. And of course, you're cooperating with people within that government. In most instances, you're indeed a part of that government. You hold a senior position. So a company is registered, and this company pretends to supply that government with something, but actually nothing has been supplied. And then the government makes huge payments to this company. Now it is emerging, this is how the late Monica Kimani got rich. You see, if you're a senior person in the Sudanese government, and you're embezzling funds, you need a face from outside. A face of the outside companies, that are getting paid these huge sums of money. In South Sudan, you need somebody on the ground in Kenya to acquire property for you. Now, this face of your embezzling company, your embezzling shell company, could be a man. But a woman is preferable because men tend to trust women more. And with good reason. In business transactions, women tend to be more trustworthy. They're not angels, but when you compare them to men, they're more trustworthy. Now, I know the question that some people may have is that if you're so powerful in a country, why go into all this trouble? Well, the answer is simple. Money laundering is an international concern. It's not local. And so, if you do your dodgy things, it will attract the attention of Interpol and the international community. And the international community is very interested in money laundering because money laundering has been linked to drug trafficking. And there are many countries, all countries of the world, want to keep drugs out of their country. And there's no way they're going to be able to do this effectively unless they keep a very close eye on money transactions, especially money transaction involving huge amounts of money. Because like in all crimes, the secret is to follow the money. The money will always lead you to the criminals. The trail of money transactions will always tell you a lot. Now, the latest very explosive documentary by an outfit called Africa Uncensored, which belongs to John Allan Namu, a very famed award-winning Kenyan journalist, actually an investigative journalist, is very instructive. Very instructive over this issue. Now, of course, the title of this documentary was The Profiteers. And John Allan Namu did an excellent job. The documentaries are available on YouTube. He did a very excellent job in showing how the money laundering activities in South Sudan involve Kenyan banks. And indeed, Kenyan banks are very involved because they look the other way. They know exactly where the money is coming from. but they look the other way, for the sake of profits. Now, banks are usually very cautious, but you see here there's some gray area, or rather there's some leeway for them to operate, because this is a foreign government. These are transactions involving a foreign country. And so, as long as the transaction is signed off by a government, the banks are safe, legally, that is. Now, the super fascinating thing in this John Allan Namu saga is that the KTN, refused to air this documentary. Even after promoting it for days, they chickened out at the last minute, and they came up with an excuse that they've postponed the airing of this documentary. In fact, what they actually meant is that they've cancelled the airing of that documentary. Now, this is very telling. Of course, this documentary was very timely with all the focus, national focus, on the late Monica Kimani and what her true source of finances was. But you see, the issue here is that it attracts attention to a gravy train which very many senior Kenyan people senior in Kenyan government, are enjoying. How do I know senior Kenyan government officials are enjoying this money from South Sudan? Well, it's very simple. Look at how the South Sudanese live in Kenya. Indeed, these guys have their houses guarded by the Kenya police. Yep, criminals and international money launderers are protected by the Kenya police service. And so, we don't have any evidence, but it's not hard to imagine somebody calling KTN. And after that telephone call, KTN chickened out of this documentary. You know, this is why it is best when you have a very hot story. Don't advertise it. Just do it and then air it. And then once you've aired it, start advertising it for a repeat for the sake of those who missed it. That is the way it is done. But in all fairness to KTN, I think somebody underestimated the power and the clout these South Sudanese criminals have in Kenya. That is really what it was.